Horns up and welcome to a brand new episode of Headbangers Kitchen. Most of you who know me know that I live to eat, and when I travel around the world I like to taste all the different foods that you get. I don't hold back at all. One of my favorite food destinations is Thailand, Bangkok to be more precise. And one of the things I love eating in Bangkok is chicken rice. Oh yeah! In fact, when I went to Vietnam as well, I was going crazy over the chicken rice. In fact, Vietnam has its own chicken rice, Thailand has its own chicken rice, Singapore has its own chicken rice, and it all comes from, I believe, the dish Hainanese chicken rice. So today I'm going to make the Thai version of chicken rice, which is called Khao Man Gai. I don't know the exact translation, but anyway, we're going to make that today, and I'm going to say this recipe is inspired by another YouTuber called Mark Wiens. If you haven't checked him out and his food travels, you should do so ASAP. Anyway, enough jibber jabber from me, let's get cooking. So for this recipe, we're going to use an entire chicken with skin. You don't need to do anything fancy to it, but you could probably just tuck the wing tips under the wing. That just makes it a little easier to handle. Anyway, get a pot of boiling water on the stove and add in about 2 teaspoons of salt to that. You need enough water in the pot to basically submerge the chicken. Anyway, into that boiling water goes the chicken. Now make sure that the chicken is completely covered by the water, or well, at least as much as possible in the size of pot that you have. Anyway, turn the heat down to low. Cover it with a lid, and now you want to let the chicken cook for about 35 to 45 minutes. Halfway through, I'm just going to take a look at our bird, and if you see any of the impurities floating on top, you can sort of scoop it out with a spoon, but we're going to do a little more detailed cleaning up of the stock later. Anyway, cover it and let it cook till it's done. Once the chicken is done, it's time to get it out of the water. And make sure that you do so carefully, but yeah, I didn't do a very good job. Anyway, I managed to get my chicken out onto a wire rack on a plate. Anyway, once you've removed the chicken, just set it aside and let it cool. And now if you see any impurities on the top of the stock, you can skim that out. Also, since I think I destroyed a little bit of the chicken, I'm using a sort of sieve to sieve out some of the impurities that I have created by breaking, I think, the chicken liver. Now what I'm going to do is take out about 250 ml of this chicken stock, because we're going to be using some of it for our chicken rice sauce, and the rest of it is going to be used to cook down our cauliflower rice, which is what replaces the real rice. Anyway, once that's done, now it's time to turn this chicken stock into a chicken soup. So what we're going to do now is boil this and reduce it down in volume. So you're going to boil out some of it so that the chicken flavor intensifies and you get a nice chickeny soup. Now as it's boiling as well, if you see any foam or impurities, make sure you remove any of that with a spoon. Anyway, once this has boiled and reduced down to an amount that I am happy with, I'm going to put the gas onto a low heat. I'm going to taste it for seasoning. I'm going to add in some black pepper to this. Now normally they use something called the winter melon in this recipe, but since I don't get that in India, I'm using pok choy instead. So I'm just chopping up the bottom of the pok choy, washing it, and then in it goes into our soup. Now while that pok choy cooks down in the soup, I'm going to take some coriander and I'm going to cut off the tops, which we'll use for the soup, and I'm going to keep the stock separately for a special sauce that we're making. Anyway, then in goes the coriander into the soup as well. Give it all a good mix and give it a taste. If it needs salt, add some. Otherwise, the soup is ready and we're good to go. Now let's get on to the sauce that goes with the chicken rice. And I'm going to take some ginger and roughly chop it up and put it in my food processor. In goes some garlic as well. Next in go 3 Thai bird's eye chilies, and I'm feeling really brave, that's why I'm adding them. Normally you guys know I'm a spice wuss. Then goes the coriander or the cilantro stems that we had. Of course, if you can get coriander root, that's more authentic. Then in goes some soya sauce. We're also going to throw in some regular white vinegar and also a few drops of stevia for a little bit of sweetness to counter the chilies. Then in goes some soya bean paste, which is the main ingredient, and I will talk more about this on the blog post, which you can find in the video description box below this video. A pinch of salt, and finally some of that chicken stock that we saved up. And then, well, just give it all a good blitz and take it out into a bowl, and our sauce is almost ready. Or well, actually not quite. There's one more thing we're going to do. We're going to pour the sauce into a hot frying pan just to sort of cook it out for about a minute or two. I guess this is to sort of cook out any of the rawness in the sauce so that it tastes, well, better hopefully. Anyway, once that's done, pour that sauce out into your bowl and it's ready to use. Now it's time to get down to the rice in our chicken rice, and I'm getting a non-stick pan on the stove and I'm pouring in some chicken oil. If you don't know how to make chicken oil, click on the I button. I've already done a video on how to make it. Anyway, once that chicken oil is nice and hot, we're going to throw in some roughly chopped and squashed garlic. And oh yeah, that garlic is going to start to sizzle and turn brown now. And remember, we literally want to deep fry the garlic, guys. That's the whole idea here. And be generous with that chicken fat. Add a little more if you need, because this is not a very fatty dish. In fact, most of the fat comes from this. Anyway, keep frying that garlic till it turns a nice golden brown. You want to make sure you're not cooking it on the highest heat because you don't want it to burn. Anyway, once that garlic is nice and golden brown and deep fried, I'm going to pour in that residual chicken stock. It is at this point that you turn the heat up to high, and then you're going to add in your riced cauliflower. This is raw riced cauliflower. We're also going to season it with a little bit of salt, and then, my friends, we're going to give it all a good mix. Now remember folks, you have to cook this on a very high heat because we don't want to get a soggy cauliflower rice. You know, we don't want to turn it into mush. We want all that chicken stock to evaporate and get sucked in by the cauliflower and give it a lovely, like a taste that you cannot even imagine. Like if you've ever eaten chicken rice, then you know how flavorful that is. Anyway, keep cooking that, let it cook. Make sure you give it all a good mix every now and then so that it does not stick, does not burn, and basically keep cooking it. Now a little trick that I like to do is I like to tilt the pan, shove the cauliflower rice to one side, let the water come onto one corner and sort of evaporate. I think this gets rid of the water quicker, and then you can give it all another good mix and wait for it to cook. After about 5 to 6 minutes, most of the stock has evaporated, only that chicken oil is left and it's coated all the cauliflower rice, and that's it, my friends. Our rice is ready, or our cauliflower rice rather is ready. Now we need to assemble the chicken rice, and I'm going to start by carving up the chicken. So I'm basically just going to break it up into two parts so it's easier for me to handle, and then I'm going to run my knife down the breastbone of the chicken and just carve away. Except that I reached a bit of a hurdle. If you can see, I have hit the wishbone, which I should have removed before cooking the chicken, but no problem, I just pulled that wishbone out and carved up that chicken. Anyway, one breast is all we need for one serving, and one thing the Thai people like to do is they like to smash the chicken breast with their cleaver. I don't have a cleaver, so this was not a good idea. Anyway, then you just chop up the chicken into big chunks and then set it aside. Now I'm going to serve myself some soup in a bowl. Make sure I get a little bit of that pak choy as well. Then it's on to the rice, which I'm going to basically fill up in a bowl and squash it down, yeah? Squash that rice down into the bowl and then upturn it onto your serving plate. That's how you get that lovely rice shape. Then onto that rice goes my chicken. Oh yeah. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of that soup over the chicken to make it nice, moist and juicy. And finally, garnish it with a little bit of coriander. And then of course, make sure I serve that sauce along with it as well. Anyway, that's it, my friends. Our Khao Man Gai, or chicken rice Thai style, is ready. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Time to taste the lovely Thai style chicken rice or Khao Man Gai. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Anyway, time to taste. Alright folks, so it's time to taste our Keto Khao Man Gai, the Thai chicken rice. And I'm not holding it in my hand because I've got it right here because, well, we first got to taste the soup. Let me dig in. That is as pure a chicken stock or broth as you will get. It's nice and peppery. You get that lovely hint of coriander. And of course, I've got the bok choy as well, which basically replaces the more authentic winter melon. I mean, what's not to like? It's a bit peppery though. I did put a lot of pepper. Now it's time to taste the chicken rice, the star of the show. And I've taken some of that sauce. I'm just going to taste a wee bit of the sauce first. That is tasty, but it is hot, so maybe, oh, that is spicy. Well, if you like spicy food, you'll love this sauce. I'm going to taste some of the rice on its own first, the cauli rice. This is the best cauliflower rice I have had. I mean, you get that chicken oil and that garlic, and it is by far the most flavorful cauliflower rice. Now let me get some of that chicken on its own. It's boiled chicken, but that's what Khao Man Gai is. Khao Man Gai. It's boiled chicken. Let me get a little of that sauce, a little of the cauli rice, and a piece of chicken. Oops. Oh, I got it. Let's dig in. Okay, that is spicy though. That sauce is bad, but it's so tasty. Like, I am normally the biggest spice wuss on the planet, but that sauce, oh my god, what flavor. Actually, you know what? It's not that hot when you eat it with the rice and the chicken. Let me get some of that soggy chicken skin. Gotta love that. A little bit of the rice. I'm so happy with the way this dish has turned out. I was worried. I mean, you know, making Khao Man Gai with cauliflower rice and never having I don't, you know, I'm out of words. Look at me. I'm babbling in front of the camera. Obviously that means I need to go and eat this. But I must be honest, guys, I am a little disappointed with the way I chopped the chicken. I've done it so many times before and I've done it better, so please forgive me. Anyway, enough jibber jabber from me. I hope you will make this Khao Man Gai at home and you will enjoy it the same way I have. And remember, do follow me on Instagram, take pictures, tag me, and I will see you on the next episode of Headbangers Kitchen. Cheers and keep cooking. Hey guys, I've got a question for you. Do you like Thai food? Let me know in the comments below what is your favorite Thai dish of all time. Maybe I can make a keto version of that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give the recipe the thumbs up, subscribe to Headbangers Kitchen and watch another video. Cheers and see you soon.